All right. So, hello. Tonight, I want to talk about uh, fear. I want to talk about how really there is no place for fear anymore in this game. Okay. So, I feel like it's kind of fitting too because, we have Halloween tomorrow and, all the stuff that comes with Halloween, fear being one of the things that I guess some people really like a good scare. I still haven't grasped that one, but the fear I want to talk about today is the one that hides in plain sight. So this is the fear that stops you from really stepping into your purpose. This is false evidence appearing real, and it's something that is very human. It's something that all of us experience. It is something that lives in the mind, but it really shows up in the body as well, like just like anxiety or like stress. And while fear is really like a part of the natural human experience, it can be really one of the biggest blocks to like your spiritual and your personal growth. So I wanted to get into that because it keeps a lot of us stuck and we don't need it anymore. So we're going to be doing the work that we need to do to move out of fear. And so it's important to understand that fear, it can come from you, or it can come from something like lower vibrational energies. These are the energies that really want to keep you off your path, and fear is one of the things that they use. So fear can trigger decisions that are not in your highest good. It'll make you do stuff that you really wouldn't do if you were in a calm, relaxed, grounded state. But it really makes you doubt yourself. It makes you play small. It makes you stay in situations that don't serve you. And if you really look around, like look at the world, like fear has been used as this control tool for forever. Like institutions, media systems, like all of it designed to really just manipulate and limit how much people believe in their own personal power. So we're here to shift that and we're here to change that. So know that fear is something that's going to like convince you that you're not capable of something, that you're not ready to do it, that you're not enough. But all of that is false. All of it is false. Fear is going to keep you thinking that you're limited, but you are actually limitless. Fear does not want you to remember that. And when I say, like, I like to step back and think of fear as separate, right? Like, I'm not fear, and it's something that is just this thing that has been around and messes up the things that I'm trying to get done, right? Granted, there's lower vibrational energies, mental stuff, all that type of stuff, but we're really focusing in on fear here. So this also ties deeply into like if you're thinking about the ego, really like the underlying emotion that governs all the activities that the ego has is really fear. Like fear, whether it's of being nobody, of death, of being like non-existent. The ego's entire identity, it really depends on being something. So when you are trying to let go of fear, it can feel like you are dying, like your ego is dying because you've been identifying with that fearful version of yourself for so long. And that's why spiritual growth can sometimes feel like this inner conflict, but really it's you awakening. It's your soul stepping forward, and your ego is really terrified of that because essentially it'll fear will disappear. So fear is something that's clever. So you like remember, like whenever it is you have all these insecurities and failures that come up, you can use fear to even point out areas where you can grow. Understand that there really isn't much comfort in growth, like sometimes. And that's how you are growing, because there is a little bit of that discomfort to indicate that there is change. So fear can also disguise itself as logic. You might be thinking, maybe you have to do something, and maybe you're thinking, like, I just need to do more research, or maybe like now's not the right time. Like it can feel like fear kind of sometimes will well up in your chest. It comes out as procrastination. It comes out as defensiveness. You might do the fight, flight, or flee right? So, like, I want to point out all these indications of fear because sometimes we think fear is going to be looking one way when really the ways that it shows up in us, we don't even really see it or notice it until somebody else points it out. And then we're triggered and like, no, I'm not scared. I'm not fearful. But really, making moves out of fear is very obvious for people looking from the outside in. So, if you're ever caught up in saying to yourself, like, I'll start something whenever it is that I feel ready, that is fear talking. Like, fear loves to make you wait until conditions are like perfect, but perfect actually never comes. So you're waiting for something that's not coming and you're staying stuck. Okay. So before you really get into awakening, fear can even stop you from starting on this journey, from starting to dive into topics and books and listening to teachers. Like, fear can keep you from getting into those things. Programming, it really keeps you on autopilot. So basically, you're just following the crowd, you're avoiding the uncomfortable, or maybe you're just believing that, someone else has to tell you what's true. So once you're actually on your spiritual path, that's where when you can be tempted with all of these things of fear, these uh I guess cycles of fear that you've had, and that'll make you fall off. So it'll make you question yourself. It'll make you question your intuition. It'll make you question if source is actually even really speaking to you. Are you going crazy, right? That's fear. But fear doesn't want you to evolve, because when you do, then fear dissipates. Then it loses its grip. So I want to touch on what exactly you can do with when it comes to fear, because if you're watching this video, you're already doing something just by being here, just by being open, just by listening, and it's a call to you to remind you that there is nothing to fear. So, number 1, I want you to recognize it. Like, notice where fear shows up in your life. And for each of us, it's going to look a little bit different, of course, based off of our experience. But maybe it's avoidance, maybe it's overthinking, maybe it's anger, maybe it's procrastination. But really, the game changer here is just recognizing your pattern. Whatever your pattern is, once you can recognize it, name it, call it out, now you can move into my point 2 of embracing it. So, fear is not evil, it's not bad, right? You can shift your perspective with fear and look at it like a teacher. You could look at it, you could even personify it. You can talk to it. You could see it as, oh, it's actually here to protect me using false evidence to kind of try to keep me safe, you know? But safety is not always an indication, or the feeling of safety isn't always an indication of alignment. Okay. So I really want you to lean into understand your fears, and instead of scrambling to escape it, move towards addressing it. Doing it scared actually removes the fear. So the third thing you can do is you can reframe it. You can ask yourself questions like, what am I intending to do that's making me uncomfortable? Right? If you ever feel a sense of uncomfortability when you're in a situation, like, ask yourself, like, why am I uncomfortable? What lesson might I be here to learn in this situation? You can also look at the facts versus the stories that you're telling yourself, because sometimes we don't even really consider that the stuff that's going on in our head, the stuff that we keep replaying of why we can't do something or shouldn't do something, a lot of those are just stuff that we made up. They're not even actually facts. So check in and see, like, are you actually making decisions out of facts or just the stories that you're making up? So when you look at the facts now, they usually outweigh that false evidence. The fourth thing you can do, like, you can write it down and you can rewire it in your brain. So the stories that I mentioned that you might be telling yourself, write down those stories that fear tells you. And then, like, next to it, I want you to write like a higher vibrational possibility of it. So, for example, if you have, I'm afraid I'm going to fail, next to it, you can write, like, what if this actually works out better than I imagined? So now you're looking at two different possibilities, but whichever one you focus on is likely the one that's most to occur. And then I want you to visualize yourself moving through this fear, because like mental rehearsal, it literally, that's what reprograms your brain. So we're trying to catch it. Now we are aware that we need the reminder, oh, I might be moving out of fear. Now it's really time to look at it, recognize it, embrace it. You can reframe it, write it down, and rewire it. And then the last thing, I want you to choose faith over fear, because when fear shows up, and it's going to show up, it's going to show up often. It's not going away anytime soon, right? You get to decide like what is actually in the driver's seat, faith or fear. And faith is action and movement propelled by belief. So it's funny that it's Halloween and people dress up their fears, they make fun of them. But in the real world, fear's costume is really like self-doubt. So you can just call it out. It's time to strip the mask off. Like, remember, you have nothing to fear. Step out of your fear and remember, you are magnificent. So I want to end with some tools as well to help with this, because I know the fear stuff is going to come up. It's going to come up constantly, especially when you start to really step into your purpose and do things that the version of you that you're pretty much leaving behind would have never even imagined. Like your family and friends might be even questioning, like, what are you doing, right? And so now you have projection of fear, sometimes fears that are not even your own. So some tools that you can use: meditation. And it's, again, that one's not going away. If you're not in the meditation game, it's time to get into the meditation game. Meditation is good for all of the above, like everything that you can imagine right now. Source and your team, they just want you to tap in, and meditation is doing that. It's also being able to take the time to identify these fears and then dispel them. I also want you to pay attention to your dreams. So your dreams can actually hold like clues about your fears. And the really interesting thing is that your soul can be doing work when you sleep in your dreams and working through some fears so that you don't have to work through some of those in the physical when you wake up. So pay attention to your dreams. And then you can also use mantras. Like I like to use, I am free from all excess fear, or I choose faith over fear. And then you can also do like regular check-ins. Like I was saying, like ask yourself, did I make this decision from fear or did I make this decision from faith? And that'll tell you like how you're doing on that scale. But it's okay if you get scared. It's okay if there are moments where you feel like you cannot do something. But this is where the support system that you have, whether it's seen or unseen, is going to be helpful in reminding you who you are and that you can move even when you're scared. So if you really want to release fear, another fun thing you could do is laugh. Like smiling, like it's one of the fastest ways that you could really like raise your vibration and dislodge fear's grip, right? You can laugh at yourself. Like there's humor in this. So I want to end with like, the reminder, fear is going to be a part of our human experience, but it is not who you are. It is just this illusion that was designed to prevent you from growing and evolving. Okay. And so now when fear shows up, you could even be grateful. You could thank it for showing you places where you need to do some work, and then you can move forward anyway. So tomorrow, as the world kind of celebrates, with the costumes and the candy, like remember, you don't need to fear what is outside of you. That's only a limitation that you would be putting on yourself. So I want you to choose faith. I want you to choose growth, and I want you to choose to remember who you are. So I love you guys, and I will talk to you in the next one.